What we do here is go back.
How's it going, guys, and welcome to this very first Lost Media special of 2017. It's finally back. I apologize to my Lost Media viewers on this channel. I know there's a separate viewership just for Lost Media that view this channel, and I realize that I've really let them down. It's pretty much a 2-month hiatus for those people, and look, I'm very sorry. But I'm finally back, looking at one that has been prolonged for so long. I've really wanted to do this one for ages, and we're finally back on Lost Media doing them again. Today we're going to have a look at Richard Williams' masterpiece that was never made, The Thief and the Cobbler. There's no real way of knowing that this was an actual masterpiece, but it sounded like it was going to become that because Richard Williams worked on this for a very long time. So the backstory is that Richard Williams worked on this film from 1964 to 1993. This is the longest production on a movie ever. This was independently funded, which is obvious considering it took that long to be made. In Richard Williams' words, when you master a medium, you want to make a masterpiece. Well, this was his attempt at a masterpiece. It pretty much begs the question, how far are you willing to go to make your masterpiece? 30 freaking years was how far Richard Williams was made to go. This is of course because the film was not funded by any company. It was all Richard Williams' money. He spent so much money on this film, and it was eventually released. The animators for this film either quit, died, or were fired in the making of this film, all throughout all those years. So before 1988, this film was independently funded. Richard Williams had worked bit by bit on this film. He'd got some voice actors to do it for him. It was just this huge production that took him ages to make. He wanted to make this independent masterpiece, but finally in 1988, Warner Brothers decided to pick it up. Warner Brothers agreed to finance and distribute the film, which was amazing for this film and Richard Williams' vision, but unfortunately, negotiations were broken down when this went behind schedule. And unfortunately, the film was out of Richard Williams' hands at one point, and it was re-edited and restructured by a different person, producer Frank Calvert, without Williams' involvement. This, you know where this is going. This sounds pretty terrible. Williams had no creative control because another company actually took the film and assumed control of it, which means that Williams couldn't do shit. It was his vision, it was his masterpiece in the making, and after all those years, another company had the rights to it. Fuck, how much would that suck? So in 1993, it was finally released in Australia, where I live, and South Africa without Williams' involvement, made by another person and made by a different company, Miramax. So well known for their animated films. Oh, it was called The Princess and the Cobbler, or it was called Arabian Night, or it was called The Thief and the Cobbler. It had several names. It's really weird. I just ripped off Nostalgia Critic just then. This is what he does.
The name of the film is The Thief and the Cobbler. Or The Princess and the Cobbler. Or Arabian Night. Or An Abomination of Assness.
Yes, Nostalgia Critic did review this film a few years ago. Well, not a few years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago. And he pretty much points out how depressing it is that Richard Williams' vision was turned into this.
The golden city of Baghdad. High atop its tallest tower were 3 golden balls, whose magic protected it. According to the prophecy, if the balls were ever removed, Baghdad would be in great danger.
No comment.
So Miramax had already released this film in South Africa and Australia, and they were a subsidiary of Disney, which means they were associated with Disney, but, you know, they advertised themselves as a separate animation company. So they decided, fuck it, let's release a North American version with Matthew Broderick voicing over and some shitty other voice actors, keep some of the old voice work of Vincent Price in it, and make it this huge big freaking mess. It was a mess. If you compare it to the original vision of Richard Williams, this is just one great big freaking mess. A damn shame. And in the US it was called Arabian Night. So the thief and the cobbler turned into being called Arabian Night. Like, what the fuck? This is just the worst. Now you're probably wondering right now, why the hell have I put this in a Lost Media special? Well, over the years, bits of Williams' work was put into producers' trash cans, or was lost in studios, or was just gotten rid of by people that didn't even know what it was. You could imagine that after 30 years, bit by bit of the production was bound to be lost. The first time this film was cancelled was in the early 70s. Now I'm gonna take you back even earlier into this film's production because it's over a long number of years. 1964 to 1993 is ages. The first name of this film was called Nasruddin, Arabian Nasruddin. There's a little bit of surviving footage of this film that exists on YouTube. It goes for 5 minutes. I'll put the link in the description with a lot of other links I'm going to give to you guys from throughout this video, but there's some audio to go with it. It's not that amazing. I'm just going to show you a little clip though.
He has admitted going around saying, such wise men as these are ignorant, irresolute, and confused.
The audio is old style, obviously it was freaking done in the 70s. This was the original version of this film, and this is like one of the only surviving clips. It was cancelled in the early 70s. This was the very first rendition from Richard Williams' masterpiece Dream. This is where this long span of production for this film becomes so depressing. By 1972, 3 hours of this film was completed. The animation was all done for 3 hours of footage. Oh. Williams, however, had a falling out with the Saar family as well as Warner Brothers later on. You can kind of put together the pieces. This is companies that want creative control over Williams, and he's just like, no, I'm doing this my way. This is my film, this is my masterpiece. And it kind of reminds you of when you were in primary school and you were making movies with your friends, and you had this idea for the movie, but they wanted to make it something completely different, Danger Hill. The project was of course abandoned when they had that falling out, but Richard Williams' dream would not go to an end. Obviously it was continued over the 30 years. The whereabouts of the original 3 hours of this film footage, with just the animation and a little bit of voice acting, are unknown. There's only this clip on YouTube that goes for 5 minutes that is in the description of course, and that sucks. This is just a massive piece of lost media, so I apologize if this video drags on a little bit more, but I want to go over all the different little bits to this film. I'm referencing RebelTaxi again in a Lost Media special because he's one of my favorites on YouTube. His editing is ridiculously good, and when he covered this movie in a top 10, he did so well talking about it. Way better than I ever could. This is a little clip from his video.
You gotta ask yourself, how much effort are you willing to spend to make the cartoon you want? 1964, Richard Williams began production on the ambitious Thief and the Cobbler, but its independent budget slowed development. Animators and voice actors either quit, were fired, or died in the making.
What's driving you to produce this masterpiece? Quest for excellence.
Yeah, some of the stuff I said at the start is similar to that, right? I do borrow from other YouTubers' videos when I do Lost Media specials every now and then. It's just how I roll. It's just how my memory goes. It's just how shit I am. I just thought his summary of it is so good. His video's in the description as well if you want to check that out. So the 3 hours of animation was lost, and other voice actors over the years, some of which died, legends worked on this film, like Matthew frickin' Broderick. Why the fuck would he even? That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish.
I love Nostalgia Critic's criticism of Matthew Broderick in his review. You have to see that. That's in the description as well. In the original version of this film, and through all the versions, the original Vincent Price voice acting was used. He played the Grand Vizier, and of course, because it's Vincent Price, they weren't going to get rid of his voice acting for the real film. There's 3 different versions. In fact, there's 4 different versions. There's so many versions. There's the recobbled cut, which I'm going to go into detail more of in a little while. But firstly, here are some of the freaking voice actors for all 3 films. This is what it looks like here, folks. This is nuts. We've got freaking Felix Elmer and then replaced by Matthew Broderick. None of the voice actors other than Vincent Price are the same. Toni Collette, why? So they tried to get heaps of well-known actors and actresses, and my god. Miramax, this should be the film that they should be the most ashamed of, because they've made some pretty shit films in their time, but this one takes the cake. Why would you just ruin someone's... That just shows how ruthless Hollywood is. They take someone's vision, they take something that someone has worked on for years, something they've wanted the perfect result out of, and they turn it into a massive pile of shit, and it's such a damn shame. It's just all about the freaking money. Yeah, kill me. Oh yeah, this is the shit. Kill me.
Ready to battle the one-eyes.
So if you're wondering what Arabian Night, The Princess and the Cobbler, The Thief and the Cobbler. So if you're wondering what turned out from Arabian Night, it was a massive flop through critics. The critics were like, this is complete shit. Because it was. It was so stupid, the visual aspects of it. They did keep a fair bit of Richard Williams' original vision through some of the animation. But the animation style, it doesn't stack up for 1993 at all. It feels like they got Richard Williams' original version from the 70s and just like added some color to it and went, yeah, that's good, let's put that one through, guys. The good news is, they took footage from the Miramax version and the one that was released in Australia and South America, South freaking Africa. Why do I get the two mixed up? The Princess and the Cobbler for the rest of the world, I'm pretty sure, if I'm right. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. And Arabian Night for the US. Bits taken from those films were taken from the surviving footage that Richard Williams originally made for The Thief and the Cobbler, and were put into the recobbled cut. The recobbled cut is worth watching. There are parts, I'll put all of the parts that are on YouTube with the recobbled cut that I could find in the description. You'll have to go show more when you click on the description though, because they'll be right down there. That is such a great viewing. Nostalgia Critic said at the end of his review of Arabian Night, The freaking Princess and the Cobbler Cancer, that it is worth watching the recobbled cut. Do not watch Arabian Night. It is really bad. Nostalgia Critic's review of this is great. This is what he had to say at the start when he talked about Richard Williams' original work.
He started production on The Thief and the Cobbler in 1964. It was released in 1993. What the hell happened all that time? Apparently the film was independently funded, and Williams went on and on saying that this was going to be his masterpiece. Because of this, the film took years and years of perfecting and financing to finally get it finished.
So yeah, the recobbled cut is really worth watching. If you've got a while, go and check out the amazing animation from Richard Williams in that. I'm guessing this probably would have been a masterpiece. The original story was nothing like the freaking Miramax version. The original did have a narrator, Felix Lamau. So that clearly would have been less pretentious than frickin' Matthew Broderick's narration. Kill me. The recobbled cut has some beautiful animation, but the best thing that came out of this movie, yes, some good things came out of it. More good came out of this production that went over all those years than bad. Persistence of vision. And you're in luck if you want to look at this. I found Persistence of Vision, the entire film, online. This video is probably going to get taken down because of these links in the description. There's so many good links. I found the whole film. It took me ages to find this film. Don't worry, the website that has the film is safe. It's not a virus. It should be alright. If it fucks up your computer, you can actually report my channel. The entire film is in the description. That pretty much goes over everything that Richard Williams worked on with this film, and pretty much the entire production hell of it. It's all about persistence of vision. Like, I have gone through this before when I made my very first show on community television. It's all about how far are you willing to go to get that masterpiece done. And I haven't seen Persistence of Vision though, so don't ask me for my opinion on the film. I'm guessing that it's a really good film. 8.2 on IMDb, that's very good. It's a biography of Richard Williams' work. It's a drama, obviously, because there's obviously going to be drama when a freaking production takes 30 years. 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, if you count Rotten Tomatoes scores at all. I don't always count Rotten Tomatoes at all, but, you know, we'll give them the pass, maybe. So yes, after this huge Lost Media special, my return, you can see why I prolonged this one. It really was Persistence of Vision. I swear this film is a curse. I really didn't want to fuck up this movie. In case you don't know, I don't have a script in front of me from Lost Media Specials. It's all in here when I do a Lost Media. I know people, they probably notice me looking down at my computer. That's when I'm like trying to look at a few short notes I have on something. It's all in here. So I really didn't want to get anything wrong in this because it is a huge document. And the lost parts of it, of course, were those lost clips that were lost all through the years. The ones that were found were added to the Arabian Night ones, which were partly made by Richard Williams, and the Princess and the Cobbler ones, which were also partly made by Richard Williams, put all through to the recobbled cut. It's a huge thing, it's a huge production, it's a damn shame that this happened to it, but we've still got Persistence of Vision, which is just a great documentary. We've still got the recobbled cut. It started off as Nasruddin, it went on to The Thief and the Cobbler, he changed the name to that. They changed the name to freaking The Princess and the Cobbler, and finally Arabian Night, and now it's back to the recobbled cut of the freaking... This is a long topic! So thank you for watching, guys. Thanks for checking out this Lost Media special. It is great to be back. It is great to make Lost Media specials. I love making them. I love getting the viewers in. That's really bad saying that. I shouldn't have said that. I don't do this for views. It's good when you have a formula on YouTube that requires you to put effort into the video, but you do get a good result out of it through views. I have put so much effort into videos. I've spent weeks making them and gotten like 30 views out of them. So this is great. Thank you to my little half of my subscribers that watch my channel just for Lost Media. Don't worry, there's lots of Lost Media specials I'm making this year. You won't be disappointed. Please don't unsubscribe. Please, I swear to God, if you unsubscribe. I'm kidding, thanks for watching, guys. Next Lost Media special is coming out soon. Yeah! Now onto my movie that I've been working on for 3 years. Oh shit. All that work just to get to the door. Oh, fuck.